Good day, listeners from around the world. You are listening to the Wide World of Motorsports podcast for the week of November the 8th, 2020. And we're here with another edition of the Wide World of Motorsports podcast a week after our last episode. And a lot of that has actually happened just in this last week. And there's still some stuff to come up. And the thing that is most important for me, and we were just speaking about this, I'm going to be looking forward to enjoying the final weekend of racing with IMSA at Sebring this weekend. The day we're recording here on November the 12th, 2020. So definitely looking forward to IMSA. So what do you got?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to IMSA as well this weekend. It's the last race of the season, and this is the 12-hour, the makeup for it that they didn't get to run earlier in the year. So things are a little different for them this year, or this time around, just with usually actually bringing colder temps. I mean, this time of year, even in Florida, is a little bit cooler than they're normally used to. But apparently right now it's actually kind of warm down there.
They just got slammed from the hurricane.
Yeah, exactly. And they're, I think they did get hit, but I think they're also expecting more rain for the weekend.
Right.
Which will make it tricky. And not to mention they're going to have a little more darkness this time around than they normally get. I think they're running, normally they get about 4 hours of darkness. And this weekend they're going to get about 6 hours of darkness, which, 2 extra hours doesn't seem like a lot, but it makes a difference for sure for a lot of things. And they've been reporting that it's actually right now, with the way the weather is and whatnot, it's really dark. When it's night there, it's really dark, and it's Sebring's not lit up like Daytona. Sebring's not even lit up like Le Mans, so it's dark and it's bumpy, and it's going to be a really, really good race. Prototypes, the championship's tight. You have Ricky Taylor and Elio Castroneves for Acura Team Penske on 242 for points. You have Ryan Briscoe and Renger van de Zandert driving the Cadillac DPI for Wayne Taylor Racing. They're at 240. So basically, whoever's going to win the race there is more than likely, if one of those two teams win, they'll win the championship. But not far behind, you have Pippo Durrani, who drives the 31 Cadillac for Whelen Engineering. He's on 233. He's a little far out, but I don't think he's out of the shot, if the other guys run into some issues.
To wrap up the season, that's good to hear that there's somewhat of a battle there. It'd definitely be cool to be able to keep an eye on what they're doing through the field throughout the race. Pit stops be important too.
Oh, definitely. Renger van der Zandert's never won at Sebring. Ryan Briscoe has, but Renger hasn't done it. He's done Daytona. He's done Petit. This is one of those ones off his bucket list. I don't expect him to be any less good, but he's actually, and also Renger and Ryan are both racing for their jobs, because they've been told, and Wayne Taylor Racing has come out and confirmed that they will not be returning back to Wayne Taylor Racing next year. There's rumors that it's going to be Ricky Taylor, and it's going to be I can't think of his name all of a sudden. But with Wayne Taylor Racing not running Cadillacs anymore, they're switching to the Acura DPIs. So Felipe Albuquerque, that's it. So they're going to get Ricky in, who's got lots of experience in the Acura, and he's Wayne's son. It just makes sense. So Renger and Ryan have a lot to prove, and it's going to be a good race. It's always a good race. I don't think I've ever watched a race that was bad at Sebring or boring at Sebring. It's always the big thing there is #respect the bumps.
Right.
It's so bumpy. It's just, I love that track. It's flat. People think that you have to have an up and down and hilly road course to make an interesting track.
Yeah.
But
it's pretty flat for sure.
Sebring's flat, but
completely, isn't it? I don't even think there is any sort of real elevation change there. I'm pretty sure it's
No, the
flat
only
all around,
elevation
right?
change-
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I don't know if I've raced that on iRacing. I'm
I
familiar with
haven't
it through
raced it on
Forza.
iRacing. Yeah, I raced it in other things, and it's always a bumpy track. Built on they always talk about built on a World War II air base. They hit the runways there.
The backstretch, right?
Sebring's actually gone through a lot of backstretch, yeah, and I think another part of the track. The track's changed actually quite a bit over the years. If you look at the way the track was laid out when it first happened to how it's laid out now, it's kind of similar, but there's some quite drastic changes.
Right.
The original ones used to utilize more of the runways, but anyways, good race, always a good race, going to be exciting. Can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, it's going to be good to watch on the IMSA website. Is usually where I think usually it's free there, or there's some sort of stream out there that you can find.
Not anymore.
No, okay. I think it's on because it's on Velocity now in Canada. So
it's geo-blocked here.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, check it out on Velocity then.
But if you have a VPN, just use the VPN.
Oh yeah, there you go. That works too.
Check it out on Velocity, or if you want to be like. But I always love the IMSA website broadcast because it had the IMSA radio commentary, and like I've said multiple times, it's just the best commentary. And then Porsche's looking to come out strong in GTLM because this is it. This is the last race for them, and they're done. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting. It's going to be an interesting race. Lots of teams with lots to prove, or just build that final race momentum before we get back to Daytona in January.
And speaking of that, kind of going into the NASCAR world a little bit, Rick Hendrick announcing that Jimmy Johnson and Chase Elliott will apparently be teaming up, and I haven't seen any info on like who or what they'll be racing, but apparently they're going to be teaming up for the 24 hours of Daytona. So is it going to be potentially an all NASCAR team? And I know that's happened in the past. I believe that was back in the 2000s, and Gordon was a part of that. Might be able to throw him in the mix, maybe. I don't know. Have you heard of any rumblings in the IMSA world about that?
I haven't. I've looked for stuff like
Same,
that.
I couldn't
really
find it.
Curious where they're going to run.
Yeah.
They could go into a prototype. There's whispers that Ganassi is going to go back to IMSA, but they're going to run a Cadillac DPI.
Oh, okay.
They're the team that ran the Ford GT program, which ended last year, so they were out, and Ganassi has retained a lot of those crew members. That he'd never let them go once the Ford program left. He shifted them over to IndyCar programs and Cup programs. Now he's going to need to utilize some of those people for Jimmy Johnson's car next year, of course. But if the rumblings are true, and you could see Ganassi back on the grid with a Cadillac. Ganassi, correct me if I'm wrong, runs Hendrick Motors in their Chevys.
Right.
That could be the tie-in. That could be the tie that they're going to go. Because I really don't see... I know Kyle ran for Lexus this year at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, but that's of Daytona. But that's a Toyota connection, and I just really don't see the connection for those Chevy guys. I don't know what they're going to run. Although Ganassi in IndyCar run Honda, I
one would assume they'd run a Corvette
really
entry.
I'm going to keep my ear to the ground.
One would assume since they're Chevrolet, they'd run that, right?
Customer cars.
Okay. So they'd have to race for the factory team.
And that's why I think the Cadillac. Right. And they're not going to.
Right.
I really don't see Corvette putting in Jimmy and Chase. I mean, they have their road course, or their endurance guys. They have Mike Rockenfeller and the other Audi driver whose name escapes me. I can see his face, but his name escapes me at the moment. And they're the ones that seem to always run in their endurance, although Mike didn't run this year because of COVID. And Corvette doesn't make customer cars. I mean, the last time Corvette made a customer car was for a team based in France that ran in the World Endurance Championship. And, I just don't... I don't know why Corvette doesn't do it. I think it's a head office decision. I don't think it's a team decision for that. It would be nice if they made customer cars, seeing as it seems like they're going to be the only two cars running in GTLM next year, because BMW has pulled out, or the rumblings are BMW is pulling out and only going to run the endurance races. So it's basically going to be, early 2000s GT1 times when Corvette just raced themselves. But it'll be interesting to see where those two drivers end up.
Gonna have to keep an eye out on the updates for that, sure.
For sure. I mean, the more I think about it, the more Ganassi kind of makes sense. With Jimmy going to Ganassi next year, it just seems to make the most sense. But we'll find out I'm sure the next couple weeks or months.
Oh, I'm sure we will. And just to add in here, I've noticed for the first time we're recording here, we're getting like 1991 Gulf War CNN quality delay here. So somehow, like, I'm noticing there's like old school news delay. So I'm saying something and it sounds like I'm cutting it off, but it's just because I'm hearing it delayed and I think you're hearing me delayed. So pardon the technical difficulties on my end, at least. I'm not cutting you off.
Yeah, I could tell there was a delay, but that's okay.
Old school CNN and delay, 90s shit. Okay, we'll ignore that. We'll ignore the old school technology issues here.
Yep.
And we'll move on. So yeah, we'll see within the next couple of months with a lot of stuff in the motorsports, and it'll be interesting to see what unfolds for Chase and Jimmy. It's going to be, for them, they're going to be probably looking into something that they've never really done together before, and that's something really interesting to see the two of them do stuff. And Jimmy next year in the IndyCar series, him having to be, he's going up with some big names in IndyCar. He's going to be racing with some of the best race car drivers in the world. And if you look at IndyCar, some of the names next year, it is crazy. You can throw in some names like Pagenaud, Power, Newgarden, Rossi, Dixon, Johnson. There's also some other guys that are apparently looking to come back into IndyCar. A fella from the Australian Supercar Series, he's said he's coming over for a full season IndyCar bid with Team Penske. So there's going to be a lot there's going to be a lot of big names next year in IndyCar, and I think that'll be probably, I think all eyes, they'll probably have, not that it's about ratings, but they'll probably have big ratings, and there's going to be a lot of eyes, more eyes next year on the sport coming in from other sports, not just NASCAR, but with the Australian fella coming in, Scott McLaughlin, the Australian fella. But yeah, with him coming in and stuff like that, getting eyes from that series. And there's also some people from F1 showing interest. I believe Kevin Magnussen, he's looking to switch to IndyCar. Even
same with Romain Grosjean.
Lewis Hamilton, he has said all season this year that he doesn't know what he's doing next year. He might. He's kind of been hinting about how, he's always the kind of person that does something different, or he doesn't know necessarily what his next step is. He said all year he's been asked, and even just as of last month, he's been asked the same question, and he says he just doesn't know. So that's a possibility with Lewis Hamilton having a record career in a record season as well in F1. Mm-hmm. So, and he's had some good stuff going on with him, with having he's extending his own record He just got his 93rd F1 victory, and I believe he's going for 7 championships.
Yeah.
So there's
he's locked that up.
So maybe he wants to do something different.
He's
and
gonna lock it
maybe experiment. Like, who knows where we'll see him next year?
Well, I don't want to be how do I put it? Disagreeing with you, but he's not going to leave. He's not leaving Formula One. There's no way. I personally think he's using it as a bargaining chip.
Yeah.
You have in 2023, you have driver salary caps coming in. But
okay.
It won't affect current contracts. I think he's saying it. Next year's car is the same as this year's car. Like, this year's car is the same as last year's car. At bare minimum, Lewis is signing for another year with Mercedes to get that 8th championship. Because he's going to win it next year. I'm saying it right now. Lewis Hamilton will win the championship next year. Nobody's going to beat him because the cars are.
He's winning it this year for sure.
A few minor changes. Yeah. So to tie for 7, so he'll win his 8th next year. But I think if he says to Mercedes, "I want to come back for just one more year," Mercedes is going to say, "No, we're signing a 3-year, minimum 2-year, probably a 3-year because after next year they get the brand new car, which is completely different, and they're going to want to use him to help develop that car." But I just don't see Lewis doing IndyCar. I don't see Lewis doing anything other than Formula One. He's a great champion. Lewis has a bit of that Kyle Busch feeling for me, where I don't particularly like him, but he's the best driver of his era. And he's got that mind of a champion, right? He'll never do endurance racing because endurance racing is about a team, right? You have other drivers that drive with you, and to be a champion in Formula One, you can't care about anyone else but yourself, and that's evident by the greatest champions of the modern era: Senna, Lewis, Michael. They just hard nose to the grind, and they don't give an inch. Vettel passing Weber in Malaysia, multi 21, right? Anyone in the racing world remembers that when Vettel passed Mark on the front stretch, even though he was told not to. Champions look out for themselves. And that's what makes them champions, especially in Formula One.
We'll be seeing that this Sunday. That's also I don't want to just leave F1 out of things because IMSA is this weekend and F1 is going to be this weekend as well. 6:10 a.m. if you're on Eastern time. So that's bright and early for us on Sunday morning. So we're going to see that. We're going to see it all come together. We're going to see racing history on Sunday, and that's going to be pretty cool. I try to watch F1, but when it's that early, it's difficult. So, because it's just hard to stay up at that time for me. I don't know about you, but we're going to see the greatest. Whether you like Lewis Hamilton or not, we're going to see him make history this weekend. It's going to be a tough pill for some people to swallow, but it kind of reminds me of all the NASCAR fans that would complain about Jimmy Johnson winning all the championships back in the late 2000 decades. So that's kind of reminds me in that sense. But what we saw, it looked like everyone lined up for Johnson when he had his little final lap there and he was going on pit road. It looked like everyone came on pit road, gave him props, and it was a big race. It's a big weekend. Chad Knaus, Clint Boyer, they were done. Jesse Iwuji in the Xfinity Series, he was done. So there was a lot of stuff that happened in the world of NASCAR this past weekend, and It was championship weekend in Phoenix. Sheldon Creed in the Truck Series, breakout star. He completed his run to the top by winning the 2020 championship on Friday at Phoenix. And he finished ahead of fellow Championship 4 contenders Grant Enfinger, Brett Moffitt, and Zane Smith at the 1 mile track to claim the championship. His second full-time season driving for GMS. And for GMS, it's interesting with Brett Moffitt, he'll be going to the Xfinity Our Motorsports for full-time next season. We won't be seeing him come back to GMS to race in the trucks. And which is whatever, he's moving up the ladder. He's going to Xfinity. I've never heard of Our Motorsports, but good luck to him, obviously. But he had a great season in the trucks. I swear I thought he was running an awesome Jimmy Johnson throwback scheme, and I swear he had that, but there's a caution at the end there, and he pit Sheldon Creed, and the only one who didn't it seemed like it was Brett Moffitt, and that definitely set the bar for the weekend going into the Xfinity Series race, because we had no idea. This is the first time it's championship weekend. We don't have anything else to go off of other than what happened Friday night. So going on into Saturday, Austin Cindric got the 2020 Xfinity title, and he driving for Penske, get them another championship.
Good for him.
Yeah. He was contending with Chase Briscoe, Justin Haley, and Justin Allgaier. And that Cindric came from behind Allgaier during an overtime restart and passed him and Allgaier's junior motorsports teammate Noah Gragson for the race win and the title clincher. And it was Cindric's 8th career Xfinity win, and it came in at his 100th career start, and also his 6th victory in 2020. And he had a great breakout season this year. Austin Cindric, definitely, I think he's going to be moving his way up to the Cup Series, no problem. And Austin Cindric, he's got he's kind of in a racing family, so with his dad being involved with lots of other motorsports and whatnot.
Well, it's a huge racing family. With his dad pretty much being Roger Penske's, second in command.
Yep.
That's great. And that's great momentum for him. Obviously winning a championship is always great momentum, but it's great momentum and a great, confirmation of him signing to
Absolutely.
Be with,
Speaking of that momentum, he's got another year in the Xfinity to get himself good for the Cup, because I think he's being the Cup eventually. But speaking of momentum, though, we thought that there'd be some momentum for Penske going into the Sunday race for the championship, because his teammates, obviously always good at Phoenix, Keselowski, he was in the mix, and Logano, was Logano in the chase? I forget. I don't think so. Yeah, he was.
There was Chase, Brad, Joey, and Denny going for the championship.
So there was supposed to be some momentum going on in there, and Chase, he definitely in some ways stunk that up, leading a good chunk of that race. Race high 153 laps, and in the final laps, obviously with it getting a little intense there, but I was waiting for a caution to come out, and luckily it didn't. Logano ended up saying that he could have, but Chase ended up winning his first NASCAR Cup Series title, joining his father Bill as champions of stock car racing's top division, one of the only father-son combos. I believe the other one would be the Allisons, and I can't think of it. But yeah, so at 24 years old and 11 months and 11 days old, he was the third youngest Cup Series champion as well.
Well, yeah, and that's amazing. And he's the first driver since his dad to be NASCAR's most popular driver and win the championship. Right. And that was in 1988, which is kind of amazing, right? Because Junior was most popular driver for years, but unfortunately never won a championship. But Chase broke that. You know what I really loved about this? I loved Chase's emotion in the car. I thought that was great. I loved how all the drivers, or pretty much all the drivers, gave him that fender scrub, saluted him, and when he was out there and Jimmy did his Polish victory lap to wave goodbye, and they stopped together.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Bumped fists or shook hands. It was great, and they alluded to it on the broadcast, and I actually thought it myself before they even said it. But it almost felt of Jimmy passing on the torch of being that leader to Chase. I found it actually quite emotional. I don't know why.
Yeah, someone was cutting onions in my apartment for sure.
Unfortunately, yeah, it was. Yeah, definitely, it was definitely onions. But it was great to see. I mean, Chase is it's a good thing when the most popular driver wins the championship. I mean, that's a huge thing. That's a big deal, I think, anyways.
I think it looks absolutely
good on the sport and it's good for the sport.
Yeah, a lot of people were happy on social media, and it's good to see that people were happy, especially after this year. It was one of the toughest years for everybody, and and Chase ended up sticking it out. He was strong enough to be able to ended up winning a championship. It was interesting how at the beginning of the new season after the pandemic, he had a bad race. He got spun, I believe it was Hamlin, and he's flipping him off, and just the image of that beginning for him, and then the image of him, as you said, him getting emotional in the car and all that, seeing him, that was the final image for him this season. So it's interesting to see how those two have mixed together. But that, we're going to definitely have some 2021 season rankings on the next week's episode. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the rumblings that are happening for next season, and we'll have the results, and we'll have some chat from the F1 and IMSA race this weekend. And it's going to be good to watch, and we look forward to talking about that.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, F1's back at Istanbul and Turkey. I haven't been there for a while, and that track's going to be amazing to watch. That quadruple apex is going to be amazing. Yeah, it's going to be cool to see. It's going to be quite the race this Sunday. And, of course, as always, we have the Wide World of Motorsports esports team machine on iRacing, broadcasting on Facebook.com /the THEWWOMS /watch. And we're going to be there Sundays, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, where we find the chumps of iRacing's official and hosted sessions. Also, be sure to check out the new Mayhem Racing League Podcast, which the Wide World of Motorsports is a part of. So make sure you check that out right up next, right here on the Wide World of Motorsports Podcast.
Hi, this is Alex Tagliani, NASCAR Pinty Series driver. You're tuned in from the track to the community on Wide World of Motorsports, the #1 motorsport show in the community.
Hey there, thank you for watching our video. Make sure you head on over to Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram at the THEWWOMS.
Remember when I told all my drivers, reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time? Drivers, start your engines!
And good day and welcome, listeners, to the Mayhem Racing League Podcast. Coming at you from in the pits for our talk show this week, for the week of November 8th, 2020. This episode is brought to you by Hendrick's Home Improvements and the Wide World of Motorsports. Gotta shout out the sponsors there. And we're here in the Discord session with Seth, Sean, Mike. Okay, what's up, guys?
Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing tonight?
It's It's cold. It's getting cold now, so I'm just staying warm.
Yeah, good to be here. Good to be here. How's everybody doing?
Just good to be here for sure. Trying something new here for the Mayhem Racing League, and Seth, he is the creator, the all-given creator here. So we got to give him thanks for putting this all together.
Yeah, no problem. The podcast idea came about here just to kick this off. I kind of want to get some of the realism of this league going, and kind of like an ESPN Sports Center style type of thing, where we can have some drivers on who can talk about the races that they've run or upcoming races or just their iRacing in general, and just get their views on some of the races and things going on around the league. That was kind of the brainchild here for this podcast.
Yeah, it's definitely good to have some sort of camaraderie here and to be able to actually get to know some of these guys, because sometimes on the track it gets real intense. I may have gotten pissed on one of my streams at maybe probably one of you guys at some point in the last few months, and now we're all here buddy. So I think that's a cool side of things too. Is we're all here just to have a good time, right? Even though sometimes, at least for me, it does get intense. I don't know about you guys.
Oh yeah, I wish I had a rivalry going. I can't find anyone to get mad at.
It's me. I got Hickson as my rival, I guess. So I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, that's definitely, I say brewing a little bit, but the intensity means something. It means guys care. If we were out there just, rainbows and unicorns, it wouldn't be racing. So I like the intensity, so it's definitely cool.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the intensity means there's passion. That means you care. If there wasn't some bumping, some intense moments, that means we're out there just Sunday driving. And that means we got a good group of guys who love to get it on.
Yeah, I definitely sense that we've been able to keep our numbers in a way, and I think there's people that just want to come back because they know it's going to be a good time. I haven't really noticed anyone kind of drop out or anyone kind of, take their ball and leave sort of thing. So
not at all. And I was pleasantly surprised. Mayhem Mazda race, 24 guys in the first race. A lot of guys returned from last season, maybe one or two new guys in there, but the core return, that's a great turnout. That's a great group of guys, good racers.
And that was kind of what started off Mayhem, really. Basically what turned it into.
Yeah, this came about as a funky idea to run some Mazdas on a oval track in the fog, create some mayhem, and it wound up being some good races, and guys loved it, and it was very competitive.
That was a good race. I remember that. That was a solid race for sure. But overall, the league, though, and how it works is you just got to join on Facebook. You got to join on the iRacing League directory. So if you're not a part of Mayhem Racing League, you should do that. And it's all a good time. There's a Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday nights. And I don't know about season 2, but at least for season 1, for most of those other series, it was those are good nights to race. So Sunday nights is the street stock. I don't know if is that going to continue for season 2.
Sunday nights 8:30 grassroots street stock tour.
Did we do Monday nights or no? Now that I think about it, I don't think we did.
No, we're Tuesday nights.
Why don't we do Monday night?
Out of Mayhem.
Right. Yeah.
Wednesday night the stadium super trucks, and Sundays is the grassroots tour street stock.
Yeah, we're gonna start doing some fun runs and testing some interest. Maybe the Cadillac. We try and stick with free content, free tracks, but we're gonna start, reaching out and see what's out there for everybody.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see like a poll or something like that where we can get an idea of what tracks people have the most of, and if there's only a few guys that they need the track, maybe we can, I don't know, help them out or hook them up or something. But if it's not a big deal where most guys have, let's say, North Wilkesboro, it'd be something cool to maybe throw in somewhere at one point.
And I think, too, you might even throw out a schedule, and it might encourage the guys to say, ooh, I have everything but that one track, and they'll go ahead and get it and just make the push.
That, too. And
yeah, that's the idea. That's the idea, was to keep it, like we started out with free content, but I want to keep it. We're not going to go to everything being a paid track, and we're not expecting guys to buy every track, but we might start throwing one or two in to get something new in there and exciting.
Like a Bristol, or someone mentioned Martinsville. Those are tracks that you'll also find are raced a lot on some of the other official series that maybe if you need to upgrade your license, and if we're going to be dedicating, because I think we haven't shied away from our ideas, especially what Seth has put forward and brought up to me. We've stayed dedicated to the street stocks and the Mazdas, and so have the people. So they know that if we buy a track, we won't just say screw it after a month. Oh, we couldn't find a good setup for this track, so we're just gonna, you know what I mean? So throughout the year, there's going to be all these official sessions that are going to be able to help you upgrade to another license. So that'd be something to look out too, is for tracks that are going to be also used a lot there.
If we do a paid track and pick a track we're going to choose, we'll race that track each season. We're not going to throw it out and do one season, one race. We'll keep it in the rotation. So if you paid for it, you'll get some use out of it, at least in the league as well.
Yeah, and as long as you pick one of those ones that are going to come up in official, I think people will buy it. I like to be almost forced from some leagues to buy a track. I don't feel forced. It's like, great, now I got the great excuse to purchase this track I've been thinking about for a while.
And if you're new and you're to iRacing and you're listening right now and you're kind of like, I don't really want to get an official, I'm not really having a lot of experience, come join us. I mean, we're more than happy to help new guys. I mean, we've seen guys grow hugely in our league, so don't be shy. Come on out. We got something for everyone: street stocks, road racing, ovals, and we're gonna start branching out. So come on out.
Yeah, there's a couple ways you can join for the people on the outside. You can check us out on Facebook, the Mayhem Racing League, or on the iRacing League directory. And make sure you shoot us a message, though, so Seth knows. So there's not just a random person. But
yeah, jump right on Facebook and send a message to join.
So, Jordan, what do you like running, like when you're not doing the league or this and that? Like, what's your go-to car for official?
It's kind of like, I just really like the street stocks on the officials. So that's kind of like, I like doing the leagues. I like doing the official. The legends as well. I really have fun with the legend cars. They're nice and compact. I feel like they got some good handling. And
so that sounds like really a grassroots guy to me.
Yeah,
I love the legends too. There's not enough legends leagues out there.
That sounds like a grassroots thing. Like, you could a lot of guys can relate to that because a lot of guys can get behind the wheel of a street stock, a Legends car.
Right. And it's also like, if you got a local track, if anyone's out there, you might be able to just have a track off the top of your head that you live close to, or maybe there's more than one. I live up in Canada, believe it or not. We have short tracks, and Jukasa Motor Speedway, that's my home short track. It's a 45-minute drive away, and they bring pro stocks to another track about an hour away, where you fix up like it's almost like I do see the odd Miata or something like that in there. They fix up like a Chevalier a Cavalier or something like that, and they'll just run it. And that's why I also like when we run those the Mazdas, or if we run the Cadillacs, because these guys run real cars. And they just got them out, add a roll cage in it, and they run it at their local track. So I also like that feeling too in our league.
Yeah, that's cool. You guys will probably be surprised that when I tell you that I don't race much pavement at all in iRacing besides the league. I run a ton of dirt stuff. 305 sprints is my passion on this.
Yeah, Seth's a total dirt guy in our league. He is unstoppable. The guy can show you around the dirt track. He'll show you where the cushion is everywhere.
Interesting.
I like that. Stuff's cool. I just, like I said, my iRacing is all dirt.
We should try some dirt races then, perhaps.
We should. There's some. Yeah. I mean, we got the street stock's a free one. We can try that on some dirt now and again. See what guys do. I can help them out a little bit. But
yeah, my take on iRacing is I run anything. Like, my favorite guy is Robbie Gordon, and that guy runs anything with wheels. So I run anything.
Right,
I love road racing, ovals, anything, IndyCar, dirt, you name it. Ferraris, love it all.
Yeah, I love the stadium super trucks. I'm not able to get out to every Wednesday night race in the league, but you mentioned Robbie Gordon, one of the greats, and I always cheer for him when I see him come to Toronto when they do the stadium super trucks there. So I feel you.
Yeah, that's how Sean and I met years ago. Both Robbie Gordon fans. I think your Xbox name had Robbie Gordon in it, didn't it?
Yeah, it was Robbie Gordon fan, actually. It was Xbox Live. We met playing, I think, NASCAR 08 or 09.
Oh, wow.
That was the first in my experience of actually multiplayer with other people on the internet and with a controller. So that's some crazy stuff.
That was a blast back then. Still playing now. We went years without talking and then ended up messaging him about iRacing.
Yeah, as soon as the pandemic hit, we're like, all right, what are we doing here? Let's figure this out. And we both got PCs, and here we are.
So you guys are relatively new to the service.
Oh, yeah. I'm since April.
Yeah, I think Sean and I both, I'm not sure when Mike came out, but Sean and I both came out in April. We kind of met because we ordered computers from the same guy, and started contacting that way off of Facebook and hooked up in April, started racing together, and here we are.
Oh, cool.
I think I was only a week ahead of you guys.
Yeah, Mike came out of the woodworks and said, "Hey, man, we're going to be sitting around inside for a while, it looks like, so let's get back into what we used to do." And then Seth was just a random thing. I was looking through Facebook comments, and I saw that he made a comment on a computer that I had, and I just randomly shot him a message, and it grew from there. We just hit it off. We actually formed this like a little, friendship and like team before we even were on iRacing. It's kind of funny.
Wow. So like this is basically for at least you guys fresh. What about Seth? How long have you been on iRacing? Just same deal?
Yeah, same time I got on mid-April.
Okay.
The computer, like March time, Sean and I ordered computers, got them in April. Damn. And just started off. And when we first started, I was running all the dirt stuff. He was running pavement, and we were talking and stuff, and he got me to run some pavement, and he ran some dirt with me, and we joined a league together, and Mike jumped in with us, and then we started our own league, and this is where Mayhem came from, Mayhem Racing League, and here we are, and this Mayhem's taken off, and can't thank everybody enough for all the guys participating and having this league really take off and start to grow.
And it's still growing. Every time I go back to the page, there's always more members. So
yeah, it's definitely growing. We're gonna do some more recruiting for street stocks. The Mazda
why not,
series
right?
is pretty stacked. But street stocks, I want to pump that up more. We do have a great core group of guys there, and that seems to be the bread and butter on iRacing is the street stocks. And I'm trying to get a lot of the street stock guys who race. A couple of guys have jumped into Mazda now, which is great to see. They're stepping up to the next. Our other series, I guess you can call it, and they're doing well too. Jesse Elliott and Joey Campbell and all those guys that are running the both series are doing real well. It's fun.
Yeah, for me at least, I kind of got back into iRacing in March, so around the same time, and I got a gaming PC, and my old PC just wasn't cutting it, and I only played iRacing here and there because it was just glitching out, and I'd be like in first, I'd be in the last turn, white flags out, I'm about to win the race, and my computer would just glitch out. So I didn't play it much, and then I got a new PC, and then ever since I've been hooked, and especially in the Mayhem Racing League, and there's other leagues out there as well, but Mayhem's the best. So.
Yeah, I try to keep the politics out of it. We've run into leagues before that. You've run into these guys with like God power trips and stuff, and they aren't fun for too long.
We're all about on track, man. We let our driving do the talking, period.
Yes, yeah, I feel that.
And then we come in here, and this is great. But you know what? You got me thinking, like Mondays, and some of the best racing I've had is in those Legends, man. I think we're going to maybe start to push for a Legend series, do a little road course and ovals, kind of like a little, branch off from the Mazda.
Legends is the best.
Well, some of the best road course battles I've had and hosted has been in a Legends car.
Okay.
I had one at Oran Park last week, and it was amazing. I mean, it's pure driving with that car.
Yeah, I love that. I love that track too.
It's a really easy car to drive on the road because it's left foot braking. You don't have to use the clutch. You just have to rev match on downshifts, and then you could just bang gears going up through the gearbox. That's a bulletproof engine and transmission. It's like out of a Yamaha. It's crazy. I love that car.
Yeah, that'd be something interesting to check out. So that was some of the ideas that we wanted to kick around for the podcast here, and maybe have some people give us their feedback in the comments on this post, or if they want to just make a post or send us a message or something like that, and let us know what they think, because these are some good ideas, and to go on to maybe some other series in another season with all these other seasons also. We've been dedicated to these other series, so I don't feel like I feel like it will be a good idea to do the Legends. I feel like we probably could make it definitely work.
If we do the Legends, I think that's where we should branch out and do a few paid tracks, because I love the rookie officials, but I always want to race them at Bristol or Richmond, and you never get to race them there.
I think that's a great idea. We could look at a schedule. That way, someone new to iRacing, they have the Legends car, say, hey, I need to do this season, and I need these two tracks. So I think we could incorporate that and then do some free, because we just got 2 good road courses for free, Oran and Olton.
I love Oran. Oh,
that's great. It'd be fun.
But yeah, I think we should do a test, do a fun run, and maybe do a back-to-back oval and a road course, and see how many people we could get. It's, I think we'll get a good turnout.
I just want to touch base. Speaking of season 2, which is kicked off in Mazda, we're going to be kicking off season 2 street stocks on the 29th, about 2 weeks from now. Okay. Street stock grassroots tour season 2 will kick off, and I just sent out the top 10 stickers for street stocks. They went out yesterday.
Nice.
And I got some good ideas planned for season 2 giveaways for Mazda for top 10 and the street stocks. But we also brought on a sponsor, Hendricks Home Improvements. Is going to help us out with a full gambit of awards for Mazda, Miata Mayhem at the end of the season, and Street Stocks Grassroots Tour. So we have trophies for top points. We're going to have most improved, rookies of the year, all sorts of different stuff, and something for top 10 guys. I'm looking into that now, whether that be stickers. I looked into a couple different things for some pretty cool laser etched keychain bottle openers, just different stuff. We'll have some cool stuff that'll be going out to the guys that participate, put the time in and the effort, and race hard. Yeah, all about giving back, trying to keep everybody involved in it and going. I think it's a pretty good payoff in the end for putting your time and your effort and get something out of it.
What's the schedule looking like for season 2 of the Street Stocks? Do you have that image up?
Yeah, I do. I loaded that in the other day. So that just to touch back as well, if you're running the Mazda series, that's been in. Some of those guys already know. But the Street Stocks just popped in. We're doing some recruiting here. I'm going to get some out. So that season's going to be USA. Seems to be kind of the home track in that one. We're going to run USA 3 times, which is
I'm good there too.
Track. Legacy Phoenix made it in twice. I liked that race last year. That was a great race. I put the wrong setup into the car last race, but we still had a fun time there.
I'm good there too.
Legacy Phoenix is in there twice. Southern National makes an appearance. Again, South Boston hits once, which that's a great track. And Legacy Texas made it this time. A little bit bigger oval. We're trying to run some of the bigger stuff, trying to open it up a little bit. Charlotte Oval made it in, and then we did go with 2 short tracks in there, a couple different shorter tracks, but Concord's back in it, and Lanier's back in there as well. And most of those races are all 70 lappers. The final race of USA is 100, and Southern National, because that's small, made it to 100.
Okay. And the All-Star race is going to be ran in with the Cadillac cars. I saw a little bit of a preview image that you put out there the other day.
Week out there, so that's going to be week 7 in that series. It's a 10-race season. The 1 week break, if you decide to make it, that's great. If you don't make it, obviously you won't lose any points. Non-points race, All-Star race, one with an IROC style. We're going to run the CTSV, the Caddy. I got her set right now for 75 laps on there. I've tested it. It runs real well. And that's going to be a special trophy race. We're going to have some requirements. I'm going to release some information. In order to run that race, you'll have to run a couple of races previously in the series. Just we don't want guys that aren't racing the series to come in for one race and steal the show and steal the trophy away from the grassroots guys. So there's 6 races before that. We might make it where you got to be in at least 3 of those, maybe 4 of them, in order to be eligible for the All-Star race.
Okay. Interesting.
Sounds like a good way to go.
Yeah, it'll be non-points, like I said, for fun, but we're going to make it so it's worthwhile. So I'm thinking up a special trophy or something to send out and ship out. So any guys around line, if you look back on Facebook here, when you hear this, Donald Hickson got his trophy today.
Yeah.
You guys saw it. I hate to rub that one in.
Of course I saw it, yeah.
Yeah, that was a sweet one. And if you look back, too, I sent one out in the Mazda series. Brennan was our champion in season 1. He got a nice trophy.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Charlie Hamilton got a pretty cool most improved. That guy put some time in and put some laps in, and he got a trophy as well. So we're going to have a lot more coming for season 2, a lot more giveaway type of things for awards and like top 10 guys at the end of the year.
And importantly, people shouldn't be hesitant to join if they haven't raced the first couple of races. I'm not saying the All-Star, but if it's week 7 and you haven't raced any, jump in there.
Absolutely.
More the merrier.
Absolutely. Good call, Mike. It's open for anybody to jump in. Try it out, get to know us, run some races. We'll help you out. But at all levels are welcome, too. If you guys just got on iRacing or you've been on for years, you're welcome. We just ask that you go out there, put your effort in, race smart, race by the rules, and do the right thing.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to run some practice laps the day of or even just throughout the week if you know what the race is this weekend, and, it doesn't hurt, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's all fixed setups, too, so they can try it on their own as well and jump in the race and be ready to roll.
Yeah, and the Street Stocks, I think, what would you say is the most popular series out of all the series that is run? Is it the Street Stocks, the Mazdas, or the Stadium Super Trucks?
They're all different. Mazda's popular, but Mazda's, I'm telling you, that's a pretty good level of racing on that series. That's again, everybody enjoying that one as well, but that series has some stacked guys in there who are really, really good. Street Stocks, I think, is just as popular. I don't think they're shying away from the popularity either. I think they're both pretty equal, to be honest with you. Stadium Super Trucks, we've been trying to pump that one up. The attendance has gotten down a little bit. I don't know why guys aren't intrigued by that. It's a ton of fun if you come out and try it. Guaranteed you're going to love that one.
Yeah. Like it, just being different might scare some people, but hell, if you can make it around the track, join.
Come race. We don't care how you do in that one. Just come have fun and race it. It's a bunch of fun.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. It doesn't hurt to just, if you're an outsider, just come on in and jump in for at least that. And I've noticed, I wish it was a little bit, honestly, I wish it was a little bit more popular, the Stadium Super Truck, because I have fun in it. But it's for me, it's just the night of the week. So maybe for some other people, that's kind of what it is. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe we'll put a poll up. Maybe we'll move it to Monday or something if more guys are interested. If we don't run the other season, the Legends yet, maybe we'll move it around. But I'm
thinking after this season, which will wrap up right before Christmas, switching them up to the Volkswagen rally cars and putting them on the short ovals, long ovals, dirt tracks, and everywhere. Road courses. Those cars seem to run a lot better than I expected when I was testing them out.
Yeah, we need more guys to run because I cannot beat Joey Campbell. I need help. I've been trying. I cannot beat that guy.
We got to start tearing down his car. We got to send it to R&D after some of these races because
he's quick. He's quick in every series, but I cannot get him.
If he stinks up another Stadium Super Trucks, we're adding some ballast. We already discussed it.
He runs the same line every lap, too. Through the grass, sideways, burning, it don't matter. It's the exact same and perfect. It's like unbelievable.
Yeah, Joey's good in all the he's fast in the Mazda as well. He's and you know what? Joey's not an oval guy, and he I believe he got a win at Phoenix this year.
Yeah, he won a race
last season.
Oval. Yeah, he did win one. I was laughing at the last truck race. I was behind him setting PR laps. He's still pulling away from me.
We got some good competition in the old Mayhem League.
Yeah, I'm looking at that first race in Mazda right now. I got it up on my screen. Zach Burks won 5 in a row. You got both Steins are good. Donald Hickson, who's the grassroots season 1 champ. Michael Christian. Sean, you're in that one and running that one. Lawrence. I mean, there's just guys. Mitchell Peak, Charlie Ham. There's just guys from top to bottom who any day, any race have a shot at winning. That's a great series.
Yeah, when we started that season, I think I was bouncing around the points lead for a little bit, top 3 the whole time, and then that esports team, man, they came in and woof.
Yeah, they are good though. You got to watch.
I mean, I did everything I could, and I ended up getting second in the points, but yeah, I was everything I could. I drove as hard as I could every lap, every race.
With just a few minutes to go here, you guys got any other things that you would want to mention in this episode?
Well, the one thing I like about the Mazda League is it's not all road courses, and it's 50% ovals, and it really forces those other guys a little bit out of their element, and I love the ovals in those cars.
Yeah, that race last night. It was last night or the other night? It was really fun.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the tires or just the car, man, but those Mazdas on certain little tracks, those little ovals are so fun.
Feels meant to be. I can't believe they never have anything official besides that one Atlanta race last week.
Yeah, I didn't have much more to kind of jump in with. Just our future podcast, we'll be doing some race reviews and things. I mean, once the season gets kicked off and we get rolling, we're going to have a lot of stuff to talk about and a lot of cool things going on. So we'll have some drivers on and different guest drivers who can come in and talk and just different things happening. So I think this will be fun as the season progresses here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Going maybe into the next episode, I wonder what people would think about maybe one of the last races or maybe the last couple of races in one of the series, maybe the street stocks that's coming up, maybe double points or triple points. That'd be something interesting to get into on the next episode, I think, for sure.
Yeah, I've been kicking that idea around. I think maybe we'll bring that up and do something to kind of keep it interesting in the end where, if your points are on the line, it's not just go out and ride around. Kind of like I think Formula One does that. Just kind of give it a little extra something to get guys rolling and get them racing hard.
Yeah, I don't want to go total NASCAR style and have playoffs because for me that ruined NASCAR because it's like, why should I watch if it's not even the playoffs in the beginning of the season? And once it's the playoffs, it's like, I don't even like these guys.
Yeah.
Football's on.
Yeah.
I think it ruined.
That'll definitely be interesting to hear what people think, though, about that because you never know. You could be looking out. You could be thinking you're like 15 points, 20 points out in third in the standings, and maybe something happens to the first 2 guys, and maybe you just have like a really good race or whatever, and maybe you'll find yourself up there. I don't know. Especially how close it was with Donald and I. So
You guys are 2 points, and if you have a good night and you pick up a win,
choke
the other guy
twice.
finishes
So,
eighth. So we'll be announcing our some special guests for episode 2 as well. Will be coming up here.
And tell us a little bit more about Hendrix Home Improvements.
Yeah, Hendrix Home Improvements. David Achenbauer. He came on. He races in our grassroots series, and he's jumping into Mazda full time this year. We're going to try to. He's a little bit limited on the time, I think, for that one, but he came on and has offered sponsorship with his business, Hendrix Home Improvements, and they're going to help us out with funding for season awards and all sorts of different things this year coming up. So we'll have that. He's going to one that's going to the sponsor's going to help us out do the trophies at the end and some of the giveaways and top 10 prizes and all sorts of different stuff. So we thank him very much for his generosity. If you guys want to put him on his cars, his logos are on the website and on Facebook as a sponsor.
Oh, nice. I'll have to toss it on mine.
They're coming out for us this season, so thanks to Hendrix for sure.
Yeah, definitely. He came on strong in the grassroots in the end there, so I'm expecting him to be a contender in grassroots tour this year.
And if you want to be a sponsor or if you want to be a supporter or whatever of Mayhem Racing League, just send us a message, send Seth a message, or whatever. Just don't want to put it all on Seth, but we're all here to help. But he's the guy who runs the show, so if you want to talk sponsorship or whatever, talk to him because this is definitely a good league to get behind.
Yeah, definitely. We'd appreciate it and reach out, and whatever you can do is appreciated and doesn't have to be much, or just join the race with us. We don't ask for much, just ask for guys to have fun.
Yeah, you can always toss Seth a couple iRacing dollars or something. He definitely earns it with all the time he's putting in.
Yeah, that's the reason why this is growing, and this is the best time I have on iRacing. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah,
and the new guys too. I just want to put out there too. Check Facebook after the races. I put up some league news and race reviews. We got a newspaper thing going on, and we post those up about the previous night's race.
You check it all out on Facebook, Mayhem Racing League, and join on the iRacing League directory, Mayhem Racing League, and the podcast, which we're aiming to be every 2 weeks for at least to start off with. So check that out on the Facebook page as well. And also, once again, check out Hendrix Home Improvements, who are sponsoring, and as well as the Wide World of Motorsports podcast, which you can check out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Radio Public. And I would like to thank Sean and Mike for being on the show today. If you'd like to be on the show, send us a message at the Mayhem Racing League on Facebook.